Welcome, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? We're here to get you quickly, really well informed on some fascinating topics. And today we're plunging into The Big Short. The 2015 film, directed by Adam McKay.
Yeah, it's that brilliant dark comedy drama.
Yeah.
Really digs into the 2007-2008 financial crisis. It's adapted from Michael Lewis's book, The Big Short, Inside the Doomsday Machine. Great book, by the way.
Absolutely.
So our mission today, really, is to unpack how this movie made these incredibly complex financial things, well, understandable, and actually engaging.
Yeah, how did they pull that off?
Well, we'll look at why it's seen as such a masterclass in storytelling, the performances, and importantly, why it still feels so relevant. The core idea, is how these few outsiders basically saw the housing market crash coming.
Right, when no one else did, or didn't want to see it.
Exactly. And they bet against the big banks.
Yeah.
Made fortunes while, the whole world economy nearly collapsed.
So let's start this deep dive. The film just grabs you, doesn't it? Sharp writing, amazing performances, and that unique style it has. It makes things like, a collateralized debt obligation somehow interesting?
A CDO.
Right, a CDO, which basically it's just bundling up debts like mortgages, even really risky ones.
Yeah, bundling them up and selling them off to investors, often hiding how shaky they actually were.
And the fact that Adam McKay directed this, he was known for comedies, right? Anchorman, Step Brothers.
That's what's so striking, is a big shift.
So how did that comedic background actually shape the film's style? Because it's serious, but it has this energy.
Well, his approach was definitely unconventional. He uses that technique of breaking the fourth wall a lot.
Oh yeah, where the characters talk straight to you.
Exactly. Directly to the audience, explaining the jargon. And it's not just like a gimmick.
Okay.
It kind of mirrors how opaque the financial world is trying to be.
I see. So it pulls you in while showing you how confusing they make it.
Precisely. And he uses really creative ways to do it, like those celebrity cameos.
Right. Margot Robbie in a bathtub talking about subprime mortgages.
Yeah, or Anthony Bourdain using fish stew to explain CDOs. It's memorable.
Definitely. And visually.
Visually, it's got quick cuts, these montages showing the market frenzy, freeze frames with text. It keeps things moving. Balances the serious stuff with this dark humor and tension. Makes it way more engaging than you'd expect.
And the script itself, McKay wrote it with Charles Randolph. It's just so fast and clever.
Oh, absolutely. The dialogue crackles. And the characters, even based on real people, they feel authentic. And if you look at the bigger picture, it's not just blaming like a few bad apples at the banks.
No, it goes deeper.
Much deeper. It really shows how the whole system was involved. The rating agencies giving AAA ratings to junk.
Right, stamping approval on garbage.
Yeah, and the government regulators just looking the other way, it seems. It exposes the systemic failure.
But, okay, a film like this really hinges on the actors, doesn't it? Making these complex, maybe not always likable characters feel real.
Oh, totally. The performances are absolutely central.
How did they manage that to make us connect with these guys who were, let's face it, betting on disaster?
Well, take Christian Bale as Dr. Michael Burry. He's just captivating.
The hedge fund guy who saw it first.
Yeah, and Bale's portrayal is so intense. The not making eye contact, the heavy metal music, the bare feet in the office.
Yeah.
He just nails Burry's genius, but also that kind of profound social awkwardness. It's brilliant.
And Steve Carell as Mark Baum. That was a different side of him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A fantastic dramatic turn for him. Baum is based on Steve Eisman, and Carell plays him as this really angry, morally torn guy who's just disgusted by Wall Street greed.
I remember that scene where he's yelling at the bankers.
Yes. They're not confessing, they're bragging.
Ugh. Yeah, you feel his rage.
You really do. It perfectly captures that feeling of outrage at how blatant the corruption was.
And then there's Ryan Gosling as Jared Bennett. He's kind of the slick guide through this mess.
Right. Based on Greg Lippman, Gosling plays him as this smooth, almost arrogant banker. He's narrating a lot, breaking the fourth wall again.
Explaining things with that dark humor.
Exactly. He's charming, but you also kind of don't trust him at all, which is perfect for the role.
Yeah, it works really well.
And you can't forget Brad Pitt as Ben Rickard, based on Ben Hockett.
He was more understated, wasn't he?
Very understated, but so powerful. The retired banker guiding those two young investors. Remember that line?
The one about betting against the American economy.
That's the one. You just bet against the American economy. It hits you, the sort of moral weight and guilt he feels, even as they're about to make a fortune.
Yeah, and the supporting cast was great too, those two young guys.
Finn Wittrock and John McGarrow as Jamie Shipley and Charlie Geller.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. And you had Rafe Spall, Jeremy Strong, Marissa Tomei, all adding so much.
So, beyond the acting and McKay's direction, let's talk about the film's, feel, the look and the sound of it. How does that add to this story?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
The cinematography, for instance.
Right.
It has this sort of documentary vibe, right? Shaky camera sometimes.
Yeah, it feels immediate, urgent.
Exactly. It throws you right into the volatility, the chaos of the market. You're not just observing, you're kind of experiencing it.
And the editing is super fast too.
Super fast. Jumps between storylines, mirrors that feeling of information overload. You feel the frenzy.
And the music.
The music's brilliant. It mixes these intense driving scores with really ironic song choices.
Like Using Money by Pink Floyd.
Exactly. Or When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin. It just amplifies the chaos, but also adds this layer of cynical commentary on the greed and the impending disaster.
Okay, so we've talked about how it was made, who was in it, but what's the film really saying? When you strip it all back, what are the core messages about, finance, human nature? It leaves you feeling pretty angry.
Oh, definitely angry. And that's intentional. I think it really drills down on a few key themes. First, just blatant greed and corruption.
Right, that seems obvious.
Yeah, but it shows it systemically. Banks knowingly selling garbage loans, rating agencies rubber stamping them, regulators asleep at the switch. It's laid out meticulously.
Infuriating to watch.
And then there's the idea of, the cost of being right.
What do you mean?
Well, the main characters, they win. They make millions, billions even, but they're not happy about it.
No, they seem burdened by it, like Pitt's character.
Exactly. There's this profound guilt, this moral unease. They know their success is built on the ruin of millions of ordinary people losing homes, jobs, savings. So even winning feels like losing, in a way.
That's a powerful point.
And maybe the most crucial message, the one that really sticks with you and makes you angry, is that the system is rigged.
How so?
Well, think about the ending, that text on screen.
Oh, right, about how basically no one important went to jail.
Precisely. Despite this massive crisis caused by recklessness and fraud, there was almost no real accountability for the people at the top. And the film suggests the system didn't fundamentally change that much afterwards.
Which is terrifying.
It leaves you informed, yes, but also deeply unsettled and questioning, where's the justice?
So wrapping things up then, why should people, if they haven't seen it, or maybe haven't seen it in a while, watch The Big Short? Why is it still a must-watch?
Well, for all the reasons we've touched on, really, it manages that rare feat of being genuinely educational and incredibly entertaining.
It makes complex stuff feel graspable.
Without dumbing it down, yeah.
Yeah.
The performances are just stellar across the board. Every actor brings something vital.
True.
And sadly, maybe, it's still incredibly relevant. It's a stark warning about what happens when greed runs unchecked in the financial world. It feels like it could happen again.
So, bottom line. It's smart, it's funny in a dark way, and yeah, it's infuriating. It pulls back the curtain on this huge financial disaster. A modern classic for sure. We're giving it a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree. It uses all those clever storytelling tricks, the direction, the acting, to just lay bare the complexities and the, frankly, ugly truths of the financial crisis in a way that's accessible and really hits home.
So here's something to think about. The film makes it pretty clear the system didn't really change, and the big players faced few consequences. What does that tell us about accountability today? About the chance of something similar happening again? And how important is it for all of us, for you, to stay aware of how these complex systems work, especially if they seem sort of stacked against the average person? What do you even do with that knowledge? Something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.